Back in December of 2009, MTV brought us the beginning of a series that would seemingly never end. Even 13 years later. It's still going. The first season of the first iteration of Teen Mom premiered December 8th, 2009. Macy, Farrah, Amber, and Caitlin were the first 4 girls chosen to make a shit ton of money eventually for having an oopsie in high school. Shortly thereafter, on January 11th, 2011, the first season of its companion show, Teen Mom 2, would premiere, giving us Chelsea, Leah, Caitlin, and Janelle, who would also go on to make big money for an oopsie in high school. Today, we're beginning a new series on my channel where we're going to take an in-depth look at this particular reality show that was created to depict the trials and tribulations, the real-life struggle of being a teen parent, being a young woman, found herself in a precarious situation while still in high school, and how that has evolved into young adults making 5 figures, bringing random partners into their children's lives, hitting their exes, banging their exes, ditching their jail surrender for a Kesha concert.
No, you don't understand. This is my idol. I really can't miss that concert. I really can't.
To becoming grown women, making 6 figures, getting BBLs and making questionable decisions, and just being thrown off the show entirely. So this is the very first episode of looking into the evolution of Teen Mom and Teen Mom 2 via the moms themselves. So buckle up, put the feathers in your hair.
That's why I got all these feathers in my hair.
And the orange spray tan on.
I have a 2-year-old daughter.
We're about to take a ride. And I seen you with Kiefer.
I seen you with Kiefer.
Welcome back to my channel, and if you've never been here before, this is admittedly a little different. I'm not a big deep dive person, doing them myself, except for... No, never mind. Anyway, I don't usually do videos like this because my brain doesn't focus like that. I'm hoping that it'll potentially stay focused enough for me to talk about something that I actually kind of enjoy. Teen Mom and Teen Mom 2 are the only real reality shows that I've actually watched since its inception. And honestly, I don't know why. It's the perfect blend of shit show and hey, I almost related to that. So I figured it would be potentially a little bit easier for me to focus on because I do still enjoy going back and doing a good old rewatch. Like I said, we'll find out if that actually pans out. We're gonna go mom by mom. I don't know if we'll cover them all because there are a bunch of them. But let me know in the comments who you would like to see me do next. I already have an idea, but if you have a preference, let me know. We're going to hop into the Wayback Machine, and then we're going to come screeching back as fast as we can as we take a deep dive into the Teen Mom 2 tenure of Janelle Evans.
I have no one. No one loves me. No one cares about me.
I love you. You're always with guys who are losers.
Mom, he's not a loser. You haven't gave him a chance.
I want to talk about my credit card.
I don't have your credit card.
But where are they?
I don't have them.
You changed your babysit him, dude.
I'm just going to hang out with my friends for 30 minutes.
You're smoking weed in front of my house.
Janelle was featured on season 2 of 16 and Pregnant and was part of the original cast of Teen Mom 2. She got knocked up by her boyfriend Andrew, who disappeared off the face of the earth, who was allegedly a model. But I'm not really sure about all that. He fucked off until Janelle needed some kind of storyline to supplement whatever hillbilly nightmare was going down in 2019. When in need of a storyline on Teen Mom, it's time for a paternity test. Janelle and her mom Barb were characters from the jump. Barbara has a very thick Boston, Brooklyn hybrid accent.
Hi. You're both high.
And almost immediately, not even almost, immediately, Janelle decided to foist all of her parental responsibilities off onto her mother.
I needed you to babysit. You can't.
Yeah, and I need you to be my mother and his grandmother. Don't say harsh comments to me like that.
I've been taking care of him since he's 6 weeks old.
Shut the up. How many times have I heard that? Be original.
So Barbara was the one up all night while Janelle went out and partied.
So when am I going to see you again? Tomorrow morning? Are you gonna spend the night with Kiefer?
So sweet. At the beginning of episode 1, I remember thinking how annoying Barb was. It was like she wanted Janelle to participate in her son's life, but she also wouldn't let her do anything. I found that to be very counterproductive. If she really wanted Janelle to participate, then she needed to give her the room to do that. And this was very short-lived thinking, because by the middle of the episode, Janelle lost me.
You stupid. I hate you. So you, and you're gonna be served, Mom.
He's 9 months old. You don't even take care of him. You're out all the time. I told you, you will not gonna do
You're
this.
not gonna get
Don't worry.
custody. Easy as that. I'm subject to go to court. Get out of my face.
My house, Janelle. You know
I don't
what?
give a flying if it's your house. Do you know I can punch you in your face right now? I swear to God, I'm about to, Mom.
Janelle was outrageously temperamental and violent towards her mother, and her only focus was on partying. Obviously, this was out of concern and to protect Janelle's son, Jace. And this, of course, goes over super swell with Janelle.
You're not gonna get custody. Easy as that.
And, like, we all knew with Janelle, wrong side of the tracks girl who, like, got into fights and started smoking Newports at, like, 9. Those girls who, like, aren't afraid of getting arrested, told their mothers to shut the fuck up.
Shut the up.
You know, at, like, the mildest inconvenience. So in episode 1 of Teen Mom 2, Janelle focused on partying and didn't prioritize her son Jace in any way. There's, like, a few shots of her, like, giving him a bath or whatever. Everything she does ended up in a fight with her mom. And this would be just kind of indicative of her tenure on Teen Mom 2. Now, at this point, I didn't know much personally about Janelle, because in 2010, I was just out getting drunk a lot. But I, unlike Janelle, was 24 and childless. So it just made good sense for me. And the reason I bring up the fact that I didn't know much about Janelle personally was because at the time I had I had an iota of sympathy for her in turning over temporary custody to her mom. And now don't mistake that for me thinking that it wasn't the best idea or that it wasn't in Jace's best interest or anything like that, because it obviously was. But Barbara could be equally as antagonistic as Janelle, and for a while sort of kept moving, as we see down the line in the series, sort of kept moving the goalpost for Janelle to regain custody of Jace. Now, to be clear, she was not meeting those goals, but the editing on Teen Mom 2 sure made it look like she was every once in a while. Not all the time. It seemed like, oh, okay, you know, I don't know anything else about Janelle, but from what Teen Mom 2 is showing me in some areas, it seems like Janelle's kind of getting her shit together. And then it would just kind of... With Jace being, you know, his big sister's last priority.
What is wrong, Jace? She better get her ass back here, because guess what?
Janelle continued to go out and party, which is where she met a man by the name of Kiefer Delp, the first of many lovely boyfriends, who would bring nothing but good vibes. And I do mean nothing. And by good vibes, I mean, well, you'll see.
Being a felon ain't illegal.
Kiefer and Janelle hit it off at a party.
This is Kiefer.
Hi, I'm Janelle.
And became sort of inseparable. And by inseparable, I mean Kiefer had no job or money, and they were both codependent.
Don't make me call the police.
And MTV, looking back at it now, sort of framed their relationship as this relationship against all odds type of thing.
Mom, he's not a loser. You haven't gave him a chance. 2 months from now, when you see how much money and when he has a job and see how much income is coming in from the both of us, then you're going to be like, wow, they are doing good.
When really it was just a toxic dump of codependency and cheap weed.
Look at your damn neck, all the hickeys all of your friggin' neck.
Janelle and Kiefer were both arrested in October of 2010 for breaking and entering and possession of drug paraphernalia. She pled guilty to the paraphernalia charge and ended up with 12 months probation.
I had to sit here and quit smoking pot for like a whole year and not get in trouble or anything or be around alcohol or nothing.
It's
And you
not
can
like
go
that.
home and
Just
smoke a blunt
relax.
right
I'll
now.
put
Which became her downfall. Actually, her whole life is her downfall.
I'm so pissed off right now. I'm about to punch a wall.
Stop cursing.
No, I have not smoked all day. I'm about to flip the out.
Smoke what?
Weed. What do you think? Janelle, no. You're strung out on weed?
Barbara. So, Janelle and Kiefer were on again and off again for a really long time. Or at least what felt like a really long time. And it spawned a lot of shit. Like the time Janelle got into a fist fight with her best friend because she flirted with him. The best part about Kiefer was nothing. But the best part about Kiefer was he was very quotable.
Well, the past is history and the future is a mystery. Now is a gift. That's why they call it the present.
Being a felon ain't illegal.
Very poignant stuff. And it made Barbara very quotable as well.
Don't you laugh at me in my house, you Mr. Disrespectful. Hi, hi. You're both high. You're nothing but a damn lying hustler.
With your boyfriend.
I seen you with Kiefer.
Eventually, Janelle and Kiefer broke it off.
Just don't change it. No, Janelle, what the that was my change jar, Janelle.
So we're kind of looking at the worst of Janelle, right? Because there's a lot of worst. But there's one moment in Teen Mom history that will live on in infamy. And it is the time that Janelle tried to reschedule her jail sentence for a Kesha concert.
No, you don't understand. This is my idol. I really can't miss that concert. I really can't. But that's why I got all these feathers in my hair.
How Dustin, her dear sweet attorney, did not bust up fucking laughing at her, I will never know. But I do believe he should be canonized for it. I remember seeing that happen the first time and being like, the fuck? Are you trying to negotiate a jail sentence around a Kesha concert? Now, one of the times when Janelle and Kiefer broke up, she started dating a man named Gary Head, which is a stupid name, but he's also a son of a bitch. This was the only time I've ever really seen a decent dynamic in a relationship of Janelle's. She started playing house with guys real fast. Like, she wanted everything to move quickly. Gary's taking care of her. She got a breast augmentation. You know, I guess the Teen Mom dollars started rolling in. She was sort of back with Kiefer, sort of not. They were fighting a lot. And then Gary came back into the picture. It was a whole mess. Like, there's basically never a time when Janelle is single. There's always some sort of, like, revolving door Marx Brothers routine going on with the men in her life. But eventually that all went south and she and Gary got into it, and apparently, you know, evidently he physically assaulted her, and I believe that ended up with her getting him kicked out of the Marines. Now, it was after this time where Janelle really, and I know so far we've been like, what? She tried her Kesha get out of jail free card. She got busted for breaking and entering, but this is where she really starts to decline. At this point, there's a birthday party for Jace, and she brings Kiefer, who they're back together again. She's remarkably tan, and she's telling Barbara about how she's hundreds of dollars overdrawn in her bank account.
My bank account's negative 600. Because me and him needed money, so we kept withdrawing money.
How can you be like with no money?
Because I'm stupid. I was running out of money because I was spending too much money on marijuana, honestly. I mean, Gary even told you how much I spent on marijuana, which I don't know why he told you that anyway.
She can't pay her rent and they're gonna get evicted and blah, blah, blah. And she's talking about it very casually. It's not like she's worried about it. She's just telling Barbara this. Later in that episode, in the episode that follows, you come to find out that she and Kiefer are both doing heroin.
I think everything will work out.
I know everything will work out.
Your pipes are going fine. I have a lot of different jobs.
We're gonna be together forever this time.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, baby.
loves me too.
And everything's really gonna be alright, right?
Mm-hmm.
There have been a couple of storylines in Teen Mom and Teen Mom 2 that have involved like heavy drug use, and they've been really disturbing to watch. And this was one of them. So eventually Janelle goes to the hospital, gets herself clean, and she's, you know, ready to tell this like, oh my god, this was so traumatic for me, blah 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 story, until she meets her new guy. What the hell was his name? Cortland Rogers. Thank you, brain. Pulling your weight around here today. Good job. There's not much super well known about what happened with her and Cortland because it wasn't filmed, but they did used to live stream a lot on heroin, evidently.
Where is Kiefer? I don't know. I haven't talked to him, haven't spoke to him, don't care to.
And they got married. Don't know why, but they did. They sure did. But when we came back for the next season of Teen Mom, Janelle decided to terminate a pregnancy that she was currently experiencing. Which brings me to the halfway point of our video. Hey, in light of the entire country being absolute garbage and overturning Roe v. Wade, there's a bunch of links in my description that might be helpful if you're looking for resources, providers, financial help, a place to stay, whatever you need. All that information is below. Places to donate, all of it. Okay? Thanks so much. Janelle is having a medical abortion and on a dating app at the same time. Because, like I said, there's no instance of Janelle being single for more than 5 minutes. So she meets this guy, Nathan Griffith. They meet on Tinder and are immediately like, let's start a fucking family, shall we? This seems like a good time. Oh, what, you're having your abortion right now? It's not done? Okay, so should we wait? No. Janelle wasn't even done with the first one before she jumped on to have the second one. I don't have an exact timeline of how long they were together. I'm sure I could find it if I wanted to. But there was maybe at best 3 to 4 weeks. Basically, Janelle and Nathan met in the summer, and then by fall, Janelle was knocked up.
Awesome.
And in there, Janelle was arrested twice. Once for a failed drug test and the other for a breach of peace because Janelle and Nathan had many domestic disputes. Nathan had also gotten his 3rd DUI while they were together. A lot of footage of just Nathan being straight up drunk and verbally abusive.
Oh, pity me. Why are you in this relationship?
Because I want to make it work for our family.
Okay.
But all you want to do is leave.
I just asked you one question.
If you wanted to work on this relationship,
you won't let me talk.
You would stay.
No, you're a bitch. End of story.
Pick and choose. And in June of 2014, Janelle gave birth to their son, Kaiser. And Kaiser has sort of long been the child that is the most neglected. In May of 2015, Janelle was arrested on charges of domestic violence. And then shortly thereafter, Nathan was arrested for domestic violence.
Janelle, Janelle, you know I didn't do anything. Please, you know I didn't do anything. I never laid a hand on her. I never laid anything on her. Why am I being arrested? Because I'm a guy. Why am I a guy?
So, good for them. Eventually they broke up. I'm not absolving Nathan here. Nathan's the one we've probably spent the most time with on, well, I guess Kiefer. There was a lot of Nathan on the show, and Nathan was a dick. Although Nathan had funny time too. After they broke up, Nathan and his new girlfriend, this thing, went to Janelle's house to get some of Nathan's belongings, I believe. His girlfriend and Janelle ended up getting into it, and Janelle hit her in the head with threw a glass at her, basically, which Janelle says that she was just throwing ice water in her face and her hand slipped.
So I come outside, Jessica said something to me. I don't even remember what she said because it's so long ago. But then she came out towards me, so then I took it as a threat. My son was upstairs sleeping. I went to go throw water in her face. Did not mean for the cup to hit her at all. And I threw it this way and it slid out of my hand and it hit her in the head. And then once it landed in her lap,
I turned around to run back inside because I felt like I was about to be attacked.
Which sounds like a bunch of bullshit. But unfortunately, because dumb Nathan and his dumb girlfriend couldn't keep their story straight and focus on the fact that Janelle hit her with a glass, they decided to make it about custody in their arguments. The judge ruled in favor of Janelle because the case wasn't about custody. The case was about, did Janelle fucking assault this woman? Then shit gets real interesting. So the one thing I'll say about this season, right after she and Nathan broke up, Janelle looked really good, right? She looked really healthy. She was in shape. Like, she was taking care of herself. She had some weird extensions and bad lip filler, but overall, like, she looked pretty good. By comparison, then in 2015, she met David Eason. So David initially was fine, low-key, quiet, and then people started noticing more and more that Janelle, who was always really, like I said, that girl, you know, the one that got into fights, the one that was trouble, the one that was smoking Newport since she was 9, the one that didn't give a fuck, that side of Janelle disappeared. And this very submissive Janelle appeared. Slowly you kind of saw this, and I don't want to give Janelle this like big boost of confidence by saying like this person who had like this fight inside of her, for whatever that's worth. Like, it was never healthy fight. So David was just very overbearing. He gave off this energy like he was a very supportive person, but he was also, he seemed to be very controlling. And I remember this being brought up in one of the reunions with Dr. Drew. Barbara was voicing concern, I believe, about how controlling David is.
You've always had trouble with Janelle's boyfriends, right?
Correct. And it's
Is David the one that bothers you the most?
David is the most controlling.
But to be fair to David, Janelle like needs containment, right?
Look, I could do a whole fucking video just about Dr. Drew and how much of a disservice he has done these women and women in general. But that's for another time. If you want me to make a whole separate video about all the fucked up shit Dr. Drew has done in these reunions, like the time he told Kaylin to stay with Javi so that it wouldn't affect Isaac. Sorry, I can't stand Dr. Drew. That didn't stop Janelle from getting knocked up yet again. Honestly, this happened right after Chelsea Huska, who is also on the show, announced that she was pregnant with her second child. There's kind of a running gag about how much Janelle thinks she's like Chelsea, who's a very well-liked cast member, and she's just kind of like the great value version. David actually has 2 children of his own, Marissa and Caden. Caden he doesn't have custody of, and Marissa is, I believe, around Jace's age, which is now like 13. Janelle announced that they're going to be having a girl, which seemed like the only reason Janelle would continue to try to have kids is because she wanted a girl. When it aired on the show, they were speaking in the car, David and Janelle were speaking about, he's, holding her stomach and talking about being so excited. And when the producers confronted them, like, are you pregnant? Like, what were you guys talking about? And they were trying to lie and say that wasn't what they were talking about.
Do you guys have anything you want to talk about? Or any news?
Not really.
No?
I mean...
When I told you, how did you feel? Butterflies. You did?
Are you guys pregnant?
No, I'm not at all.
Janelle felt like it was a really trashy way for things to come out because she had been in a car accident. And in the police report, it stated that she was pregnant. She felt like it was really tacky that it came out that she was pregnant in a police report. And while I think that's the case for most people, I think for Janelle, it just kind of feels right. Anyhow, in January 2017, Ensley was born, and the following month, David and Janelle would get engaged. And again, Chelsea Huska and her now husband, Cole, they got engaged, and it was just, I don't know, like, It always, if you watch side by side, Janelle is always trying to be on par with Chelsea in certain ways, and I just think that's hysterical that she has that sort of vision of herself. Janelle and David got a modular home, and they bought swampland. Basically, they put this modular home on it, and we're running with this whole bit of, living off the grid and homestead life and all this, and it literally just looks like a serial killer's palace. They've lived there for like 4 years at least, and like it just looks like a dump. A lot of Janelle's problems herein lies with David. Basically, David was let go from Teen Mom 2 after he released like a slew of homophobic slurs. Like, it's no secret that David Eason is a far-right idiot, Trump-supporting, homophobic, racist, misogynist piece of shit. Basically, MTV was like, yeah, this doesn't represent us, go fuck yourself. And yeah, okay, good on them. I'm not gonna sit here and praise a corporation for doing anything, like the bare minimum, like keeping like noisy homophobes off your TV show, but like, okay, good choice, I guess. Janelle like continues to defend him, right? Because the one trend with Janelle is that she always becomes her boyfriends. With Nathan, she became obsessed with working out, With Kiefer, she became obsessed with heroin. She just follows whatever. There was a time where like she and her best friend Tori were like, but now she's a homophobe with David.
What's different about David? Again, you've had Nathan, we've had all these other guys that have come and gone. Why this one?
He's very protective. He's
protective. You have a history of being attracted to aggressive men.
I know when he gets aggressive, I tell him, I'm like, you got to calm down.
I know that your old preoccupations used to be with cheating.
And he's probably...
And
also, David's treatment of her son Kaiser is disturbing.
Got it. Just keep snapping. Okay. Keep snapping. Kaiser, don't touch it! Holy
Don't play with your toys. Don't play with your toys, man.
I'm dying.
They're trying to shoot their engagement photos, and Kaiser's like, feed me, I'm hungry.
He needs to go to sleep.
Which all kids do shit like that, right? But it's just like, there's something not right.
I picked up Kaiser at daycare. The first thing he says to me is, Nana, David punched me. David punched me.
In October of 2018, Janelle called 911, really upset.
911, where's your emergency? Sorry. My name is Janelle Eason. I'm a 17. And my husband, he just assaulted me, and he pinned me down on the ground in the blood, I'm sorry, in the yard. And I think I heard my fucking collarbone crack.
And then later just sort of chalked it up to like a misunderstanding. Look, I don't like Janelle Evans. I think she's kind of a garbage person, and I think she's a questionable mother, if I'm being generous. I don't want anybody to be in a situation where they're being physically, emotionally, mentally abused, especially if they have children. I'm sorry, but calling the police in a fit of tears, concerned that your husband broke your collarbone, and then wanting to publicly chalk that up to it being a drunken misunderstanding, reads, I am in an abusive relationship. Shortly thereafter, they made headlines when David shot and killed their dog, Nugget, for nipping at Ensley.
Good girl, no.
I want to say a couple things. One, this happened in front of the kids. As it's been told, David roughed that dog up, who was a French bulldog, by the way. Not a fucking Rottweiler. Roughed him up, took him outside, and fucking shot him. At the time, I believe Ensley was maybe 2. 2, maybe 3. And there were all these videos on Janelle's like Instagram and stuff of her just like manhandling animals. Like they're not telling Ensley how to treat animals. They're not guiding her or supervising her. They're letting her manhandle the fuck out of animals because at the time they were homesteading, so they had birds and shit. And she was rough with them all. You know, all kids are a little rough when they first learn how to interact with animals, but that is our job as parents to say, hey, this is a living thing. And ironically, and I don't know if it was the same, it was either the same season or the next season or one of the seasons around it, Chelsea also had birds. She got chickens, and Aubrey, her daughter, was playing rough with the chickens. And Chelsea brought her inside and said, that is a living thing. If you can't handle the responsibility of playing with them, then you're not allowed to hold them anymore. Yes, prioritize your children, I guess, over the family dog, sure. But the onus is on the parents to teach the child how to interact with the animal. They genuinely made it out like this dog tried to maul Ensley, and it was literally just a nip. When all of that went down, Janelle and David lost custody of the kids in their house. Jace stayed with Barbara, Kaiser went with Nathan, I believe Ensley went with David's parents. No, Ensley was with Barbara as well. This was like the only time that like Ensley looked clean and bathed and cared for and present. And then eventually after a few court dates that July, David and Janelle regained custody. In the midst of all this, there was also another incident where Janelle and Jace were driving, and well, Jace wasn't driving, he was in the passenger seat. Janelle was essentially fucking with a guy in traffic, and she decided to follow him.
Are you kidding me, dude?
And she followed him all the way to his house. And then when he came to confront her...
You were tailgating me, you dumbass!
Where you at?
Oops! My bad. I didn't mean to do that.
Like, backed into her car.
Now he's blocking me in. Dude, he just hit my car! Babe, he just hit my car! Dude!
She pulled a gun on him.
Dude, leave me alone!
She literally, with her son in the passenger seat, pulled a gun on a stranger. Put her son in danger. You don't know who you're fucking following. Or who's following you. You don't know who this person is. And just because you have a gun in your car doesn't mean you're safe. She learned all this gun-toting shit from David and then calls him up all upset. Now the kicker here, the real fucking kicker here, is that she got out of the car to talk to the police, left her son in the car with a loaded gun, and then when Barbara picked up Jace and Jace told Barbara what had happened, that Janelle had pulled a gun on a stranger, Janelle said, "No, I didn't. Why are you telling her that? Why are you lying, Jace?"
Pulled a gun out? No.
So he's telling me.
No, I didn't, Jace.
What? Oh, yeah.
Why are you telling me that I pulled a gun out on him? I did not do that.
She gaslit him on fucking camera. Shortly after all of this happened, MTV stopped filming Janelle. So Janelle kind of took to YouTube, basically, after that, and she still is. She and David split up in 2019, and honestly, I'm a gullible ass bitch, because I was like, that's amazing. Good for her. Finally, she sees the light, she's getting out of there, she's taking care of herself and her kids, and they're gonna be safe, and she can move on, and maybe she'll actually learn how to be a person without having to have a man there to support her emotionally or whatever. But no. They got back together and they're still together. So that's super cool. Now Janelle is doing OnlyFans. which is yucky. Now, the reason I brought up before her appearance is because her appearance with Nathan and post that breakup and her appearance now are drastically different, right? Neither one is particularly bad. Like, if this is just what Janelle had looked like the entire time, I wouldn't think a thing of it. As you age, and especially as a parent, like, you put on weight and you start to you age, you look different, right? But for a long time, this transition to sister wife has seemed to have been purposeful on David's part, feeding the family just these heavy meals that they document on social media, and drinking beer and all these things, which don't by themselves sound like particularly egregious things. We all love a good fatty meal, we all love a beer or whatever, but like, it's so part of their everyday, and it feels like David only takes unflattering photos of Janelle, like, on purpose, or I don't know, there's something behind it that feels so manipulative and kind of gross. I would love to see Janelle leave David. I would love to see it. It'll never happen, and if it does, she'll move on to somebody else. But all in all, we saw, a girl who couldn't stay out of fucking trouble in her teen years, instead of being a mom, grow into whatever this is. I don't know. All I know is that Chelsea got an HGTV show and you didn't.
We win.
Anyway, that concludes the deep dive into Janelle Evans. I'm sure I missed a bunch of stuff, but we can save those for another day. If you want another one of these with another teen mom, leave that mom suggestion below. And I would love to do another one of these because this was really fun. Was it? I don't know. If you like this video, please feel free to give it a like. Feel free to subscribe. I make new videos whenever I feel like it. My social media, memberships, Patreon, all the appropriate links and such will be down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
But I did not choose to have a baby at 57. You chose to have the baby, and you put all the responsibility on me.
I haven't smoked all day.
You're not gonna get custody. Easy as that.
And when Janelle comes home, I have to sneeze.
Look at your damn neck, all the hickeys all over your friggin' neck, you boo.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I think I turned my eyelashes inside out.
You don't want your kid at all!
With your boyfriend. What are you, strung out on weed?
You're strung out on weed?